Hello.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, please, sorry. Today my network is really bad here, so pardon me for that. Okay, so the objective for section one is to identify two uses of apostrophe and use the apostrophe rightly. So we can also state the uses of the brackets and how the brackets is being used appropriately, and the uses of the colon and how it is being used appropriately. For section one is taking us to apostrophe and others. But then I just want to ask, what are punctuation signs or punctuation marks? Any idea or any view on what the signs are? What are punctuation marks or punctuation signs?
Madam,
Yes, please.
please, to my understanding, I feel like they are used to make sentences clear.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Ayara. Please, any view, any other view on punctuation signs or marks? So, when we say punctuation, okay, anybody on the floor to talk? When we say punctuation signs, they are just symbols which is used to clarify meaning and separate ideas and also organize a written text. So here, punctuations are mostly not used in oral text or oral speeches, but then they are used mostly when it comes to written text. In that, when you are speaking, as I am speaking, it will be very difficult for you to know how you're going to punctuate it. But then in a written form, it is very easy to punctuate whatever thing you are saying. In the oral speech, mostly we go with the tonations, the falling and then the rising. That is how it helps us to flow. But with written, we need the punctuation signs to make meaning to it. So when a sentence is being written like, are you a fool? With a question mark, it's a question. Here, you can take it not an insult, but just that a person is asking you a question. But then again, if the same sentence is being read to you, are you a fool? You are going to take it differently because it's being read and the punctuation sign is not there. You might take it as indirect speech, which is an insult. But when it is written and then there is a punctuation sign question mark, you not take it as an insult, but then just a question for you to answer. Okay. So that is punctuation signs. So they are used to clarify meaning and they are used to separate ideas and organize a written text. So the first punctuation we're going to discuss is the apostrophe. Please let us all take notes of how it is being written. The sign, the apostrophe sign, how it is being written. So apostrophe sign is generally used to show possessions of a particular thing, to show possession. It is used to show possession. That is the use of apostrophe. So in showing possessions, we can show possessions with the use of the nouns. When you write with an S, apostrophe S, the boy's book, the man's money, the children's book, the teacher's house. So that is the possessive form with the use of the nouns. And under the nouns, we have singular nouns and the plural nouns. So singular nouns that ends with S. We have the singular nouns that ends with the S, just like in the book. So like princess, Jesus, Moses. That's one you bring an S or you ignore the S. It's still
Madam,
showing possession. Yes.
please,
Yeah,
your screen
Patricia.
is not showing. Please, your screen is not showing.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Patricia, please, is the screen showing now? Can you see it?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry for that. I didn't know. Okay. So we have singular nouns and the plural nouns. So the singular noun, something like the boy, if you add the S to it, it becomes the possessive form, the boy's book. And we have the plural form. The plural form, like a man, the man's shirt. Man becomes the singular form, but then men's, the men's building, the men's book, the men's organization, which is what the plural form. That you also add the S to it. So the apostrophe comes before the S. So the possessive form in that way is there, and the singular form is also there. The plural form for a word like boys, it is already in the plural form. So in this case, if you still want to say it in a way that the boys becomes a possessive noun, the apostrophe will come after the S. So BOYS apostrophe. That is the plural form of the possessive noun boys. And then the singular form will be the boy apostrophe S. That will be the singular form. That is how you write it. So we have some plural forms here. The plural nouns for skirt, girls, how it is being written. I hope you can see it there. I, girls. So as I give the example like boys, we have teachers. Because the teachers' bungalow. The teachers' bungalow. Because teachers is a plural noun. If you want to add the possessive form, you shouldn't bring the S again, but you just bring the apostrophe. You write teachers, you bring the apostrophe, and then it is still what the possessive form. So that is how you write it. And we have the irregular forms, just like the plural form of the irregular ones, like the children's pack, the men's coat. So that is the irregular form when it changes that way. And we have the indefinite pronoun. It is there, somebody's guess, nobody's answers, someone's concerns. So in this case, so you bring the apostrophe and you bring your S. You shouldn't add the S to the somebody's. When you are writing the possessive form of it, there should be an apostrophe to that. So that is the first usage of the apostrophe. We also use the apostrophe when we want to indicate time modifiers. The first sentence for the B, time modifiers, in a sentence like a week's stay, a day's visit, a year's study. So that is time modifiers to differentiate it. That is the best thing to do. And then again, we also use the possessive for proper nouns ending in S, just like Jesus's Bible, Moses's law. Okay, so some of the nouns or the proper nouns that ends in S, you can write it and bring the apostrophe. So James's Bible in the possessive form. You write James because it ends with S. You ignore the S that you will add to it to show the possessive. You just bring the apostrophe and you leave it like that. So Jesus's, James's, princesses. Okay, so that is the third one. And we have to note that we omit the use of apostrophe in adjective nouns. We omit it in adjective nouns that combine. So the nurses association, Accra Girls Secondary School, Boys Brigade, Ghana Teachers Association. So in this adjective nouns, you shouldn't bring the apostrophe. We omit them. So we have to note that in the sentence. And the last one is the apostrophe is used to form plural of letters. So we have the numbers, the symbols, and the words. So how many A's did you get in the end of semester exam? Oh, I had 4 A's, 1 B plus. Okay, so you bring the apostrophe S to show possession of that letter. I was born in the 1980s. I was born in the 1980s. So that is also the positive form of numbers. That is all for apostrophe. Any question? So we can also use the apostrophe for contractions. When you are writing your essays, so did not will become didn't, cannot will be right can't. So that's the contraction form of words, and mostly we use the apostrophe to write it in that way. Okay. So any question? If there are no questions, let us try to write 5 examples of let us try to at least say something about the apostrophe, its usage. We have learned it. So can we give examples on your own so that we can continue? Please, are we okay? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Can we give example?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm listening.
Example. I am living in my mother's house.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other?
This is John's book.
This is John's book. Okay, so let's take the last example.
The boxes are many.
Okay, so in the boxes are many. That is just the plural form, but it's not I think the sentence you just read, um the possessive form is not seen in it. Okay. So we can also use the apostrophe when you want to say something that is not that is inanimate in the possessive form. So her heart's desire was to marry a white man. Her heart's desire was to marry a white man. The nation's goal. So Ghana's pride. Okay, my husband's car, my wife's money. Okay, my grandmother's mansion. So that is you claiming the possessive form of that. So we can use it in that sense. All right, so let's quickly go to brackets or the parentheses. So when you say brackets, mostly we associate it with the two semicircles, but we have the square brackets, we have the semicircle brackets, and we have the ones that we mostly use in mathematics. which we can all see there. So how do we use the brackets? Mostly we use the bracket to separate a comment, add extra information, or bring an afterthought to the rest of the sentence. So whenever we use the brackets, we want to either separate a comment from the whole sentence, or we want to add extra information to the sentence that is being written. So we have example like my brother. So bracket opens, who lives in Accra, bracket close, is visiting today. So it can possibly be my brother is visiting today, but the extra information which is being added to it is who lives in Accra. So that one will be put in the bracket as extra information. When that information is taken out, the meaning of the sentence is still clear. Okay, so that is one use of the bracket. So the meeting is on Friday, not on Thursday as planned. So the meeting is on Friday. And then bracket open, not Thursday as planned. Bracket close. So that is an extra information that we add to the sentence. So in the book, we have a sentence that's like the evils that men do, the evils that men do, and brackets open. So Shakespeare reminds us, lives after them. So Shakespeare here is just extra information about the statement that we are writing, that he was the one who said it. But then if that statement is still taken out, the meaning of the sentence is still clear. So whenever we use brackets, it is either we are adding extra information or we are separating the comment from it. Brackets then again can be used to do a cross-reference, mostly when you are writing your project work. When you are writing your project work and you are referencing, there are some aspects of the reference that you have to put them in a bracket form, which when you do not do it, you are going to be punished for it. So what the type of reference style that you choose, you have to be consistent with it on the ones that should be in the bracket and the ones that should not be in the bracket. So that is the reference there. And we also use the brackets when we are doing phonetic transcription. With phonetic transcription, it is mostly found in our dictionaries. So when you take the dictionary, you look for a word like maybe book, global. You will see that there is a square bracket, and how the word should be pronounced is being written there to guide you to make or sound the correct word. So if it's book, it's book, and what kind of book? So book. So that is the phonetic transcription. Again, brackets is used to show abbreviation after full names. It is used to show abbreviations after full names. So when an abbreviation like the words World Health Organization, that is the full name. You open brackets and you write who there. So Ghana National Association of Teachers, that is the full name. You open brackets and you write NAT there. So it is used to show abbreviation after full name. So after the full name is being written there, it's open and the abbreviated form is being put in the bracket form. And the last one is that it is used to show reference in academic writing. Yes, as I said earlier, in academic writing, in your referencing, that is the bracket. That is the bracket. Please, any question on the bracket? Okay, let me finish with the colon so that we continue. With colon is mostly used to direct attention to whatever that follows it. Colon is mostly used to draw attention or direct attention to whatever that follows it. So mostly, colon is used before a long list of items. It is used before a long list of items or a list of items. So we have an example there for us. So Nancy went into the market and bought the following items. There is a colon. The colon is just two full stops up and down. Okay, so Nancy went into the market and bought the following items. Colon, some fish, garden eggs, tomatoes, onions, and some oranges. So it comes just after the list starts. Okay, so that is one use of a semicolon. And it is also used after the main clause. It is also used after the main clause. It helps us to know the extra information which is explaining the other one. The extra information which is explaining the other one. So the teacher said, hard work leads to success. The teacher said, hard work leads to success. There is one thing I hate, semicolon, dishonesty. Okay. One example again is he had only one goat. He had only one goal, semicolon, to pass the exams. So to pass the exams, he had only one goal, explains why he wants to pass the exam. Okay. So it separates the main clause and then the dependent clause for us to know. So a mighty tree has fallen, semicolon, my benefactor has passed away. So separating the two clauses, it's in the former after the main clause. So that is it. And the last one, it is also used to separate the hours and minutes. So when you are writing time or you are indicating time, right about now, it is 7:50 p.m. So that is time. The colon can also be used to introduce a quotation. It can be used to introduce a quotation. So when you want to quote what somebody has said. So my lecturer once said, semicolon, hard work leads to success. My lecturer once said, semicolon, you open your quotation, hard work leads to success. So these are what we have learned so far for section 1, and the apostrophe and the brackets or the parenthesis and then the semicolon. Any question so that we continue? Any question?
No, please.
Okay, if there are no questions, I'll just rush you through the section 2. The section 2 is us learning something about the comma. The section 2 is solely dedicated for comma. So the objective is that we should be able to distinguish between the routine uses of comma and the less routine, and identify more versatile uses of the comma and how it is being used to assist readers to achieve better comprehension, and interpret the meaning of comma in a text. So comma, that is the second thing we are learning. Comma, mostly students like to use it more in their essays. So I'll just ask you, when do we use comma? We should just say it so that we can skip to the other sections. When do we use the comma? When do we use the comma?
When listing items.
When listing items. So can you give an example for us?
I went to buy pens, book. So I went to buy pens, comma, book, comma, bag, comma.
Okay, so it is used to separate a list of items. All right. Another use of the comma. Another use of the comma.
Madam,
Yes, please.
It is used to separate the year from the date, like when you are
That is
writing
very
dates.
good. When you are writing dates in your essays, especially. So it is used to separate the dates from the year. Thank you so much. So can you give us an example?
indicate slight pauses.
Hello.
Hello, please, to indicate slight pause.
Okay, it's to indicate slight pause. So can you give an example for us?
Maybe if I'm reading something and there's a slight pause. Not clear,
Okay.
I would have read from your screen.
Okay. Thank you. Any other usage of the comma?
Madam,
Yes.
to separate geographical areas.
So we use it to separate geographical areas. Okay. Can you give an example?
Okay. Come on. Madam, come.
Okay.
Madam, Tamale,
Mm-hmm.
not in Ghana.
Okay. Thank you. So I think whilst you just said that example, this guy's song came into my mind, medical song, when he was listing some of the areas in Accra, and upon listening to it carefully, and if you know the areas of Accra, you realize that those places are somehow closer. So Kanish or Doko together. Me, my mom will be, they are together, that kind of thing. Okay. So to separate the geographical areas in terms of its closeness, you can use it. Any other example? Any other example, the usage of the comma? Okay. So the comma is also used when we are writing our salutations and then the subscriptions. So we use the comma when you're writing your salutation, either formal or informal. So dear Tess, dear sir or madam, my dear father, my dear wife, my dear friend. So that is the salutation. Just after writing the name, you just bring your comma. Also with the subscription, yours ever, you bring your comma, yours faithfully, yours affectionate son. So whenever you are writing your subscription, you should bring the comma and then that of the salutation too. We also use the comma when we are writing the numerals or numbers. Okay. So even you are a business student. So when I come to the bank and I write a lot of numbers about 10 to 13 without the comma, you can indicate it as just a code or anything. But the moment the comma comes in, you know that this is the money that I'm here to withdraw, because the comma separates is to give a name to that number. So if we have 25,650, 25,650, the comma separates it so that we will be able to name it that way. Okay, so in terms of money, comma helps us to give out the names. And whenever we are listing numbers, we even use the comma to list numbers, to separate the numbers so that they don't come together as one particular number. So that is it. And we can also use the comma when you're writing the titles and degrees of a particular person. So when the name comes, the title follows. So after the name, there should be a comma before the title. Okay, so if you know any lecturer who has his or her PhD, and you are writing something about that person, the person's name comes before the title follows. Okay, so just after the name, there should be a comma before the title of that person. So that's a step. Going through, we can also read through the second measure, which is that the comma is used to separate the subordinate clauses, which here we have the adverbial clause or the prepositional phrase. So long sentences that appears in a subordinative clause as adverbial clauses or prepositional clauses, they are mostly separated by the comma. So we have an example there. If food crop farmers had not been regularly disappointed by the rains, their standard of living would have been quite high. So I think one guy said that it is used to indicate pauses. So when you are reading and there is a comma, how you read tells us that there is a comma there. Okay, so that is it. We can also use the comma to separate it is used to separate and introduce a transitional word. So transitional words like however, in fact, therefore, for example, whenever we are writing them, just after the transitional word, there is a comma before the sentence continues. Okay, so when you look at 2.24, there is an example there. Yes, hard work is not always rewarded. Where am I reading? So indeed, Adjoa never expected any obstacles to her marriage. So indeed, there is a comma and it continues like that. So mostly too, the comma is used when you are writing sentences that show supposition. Okay, sentences that show apposition. Appositions are actually extra information that are being added to a particular person. Mostly when they are taken from the sentences, it does not change the meaning and the meaning is still the same. But then it is just an extra information which we add to the sentence about the subject in question. So when you see Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, set ablaze African liberation from colonial rule. So Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, there is a comma. And then the Ghana's first president, there is a comma, set ablaze Africans' liberation from colonial rule. So that is how it is being used. It is a positive in the sense that it's just adding extra information or telling us something about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And if that sentence in the middle is taken away, we still understand what the sentence means. So that is it's a positive form. So the comma is very occasionally used to separate two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. So we know clauses. So when two clauses come together, the dependents and then the subordinative and then the main clauses, they are mostly joined together by and or but those conjunctions. So if we don't want to use the conjunctions, you just go with the use of the comma, and then your sentence is on, it's all good. So it's either you choose to use the conjunction or you use the comma. Yet he has found a question that he can easily answer. So that is the question, the sentence there. And the last one is that it is also used to separate the question tag from the statement, which is also important as we know. So when you are writing a question tag, the comma is used to separate the statement from the question. It's used to separate the statements from the question. So we have example there. You are my mate, aren't you? So you are my mate. After that, there is a comma, and then the answer follows. The question follows, aren't you? So these are the uses of the comma. We have to read them. I skipped some of them. So when you are reading, please pay attention and read all of that. Okay, so we have a short exercise which we can speedily try to do. So let's take from the B, the I. There are some sentences there. So if you read them and then you bring out the answer where you think the punctuation sign should be. So the class, let's give us a 1 minute to do it.
Madam,
Yes.
they found the task very difficult. However, they are determined to succeed.
Okay. So they found the task very difficult. There can be a comma there. And then, however, it will take a comma because it is a transitional device. And they are determined to succeed. Thank you so much. Let's take the second one.
Madam,
Yes, please.
we all expect to succeed, don't we?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The third one. The third one, please.
Madam,
Yes.
if students have not been regularly disrupting the academic calendar, planning will
Mm-hmm.
be much easier. Full stop.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. So let's take the last two.
Madam,
Yes.
Madam, the third one, can it be this way? If students have not been regularly disrupted, the academic calendar planning will be much.
You see, the academic appears too. So as you are saying, if students have not been regularly disrupting, that is a verb anyway. The academic calendar, academic planning will be much easier. So you see the two, it means the sentence ends with the academic calendar playing the role of an object.
Okay.
Okay, now as an object, the comma comes before it starts again. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. So the fourth and fifth one. All right. So let's quickly go through because we are late. With the two, you solve it. So with the section 3, we continue with the punctuation signs. And here we're going to take the rest of the signs. So the first one here is the caret sign. The caret sign is mostly used by students in their essays or in their write-up. How do we use the caret sign, please? Because we are all students and we are still learning, so we mostly use them. How do we use it? The caret or the omission sign? The caret or the omission sign? How do we use it?
Madam, it is used whenever you make a mistake, like you forget to bring some statement in between your whatever you are writing.
Okay, okay. So can you cite an example?
Okay, let's see. The company has no to give you a good credit. So I forgot to bring
Your sentence again.
Madam.
Mm-hmm.
Let me use this. The presence of Madam made all the difference to moral. So I forgot to bring hair. So I'll use the carrot, then I'll bring hair.
Okay, okay, thank you. So I want a feminine voice to give us one example so that we move to the next item. I want a lady to give one example with how we use the caret sign or the omission sign. So in a sentence like I will home, you forget something. So the moment you realize you reread and you realize that you have forgotten it, what you just need to do is to bring the caret sign or the omission sign, and you bring the missing word, which will be go. So I will go home. But then when I was writing, I omitted the go and wrote I will home. I will home. So in this case, you bring the caret sign and you write it there. Okay. So let's continue on to the second sign or mark, which is the dash. Dash is different from hyphen. What is the difference in terms of how it is being written? What is the difference between the dash and the hyphen, how it is written? Hello? The difference between the dash and the hyphen, how it is written.
Madam.
Yes.
I think the dash is longer and the hyphen is shorter.
Thank you so much. That is all I wanted to hear. So the dash is longer whilst the hyphen is very short. So the dash, it's as you said, it is long when you are writing it. Its usage is mostly used in the informal context. Okay. So whenever you are writing something and you bring the dash, it mostly appears in the informal context. The dash can be used instead of the comma, the semicolon, or the colon. So the uses of the semicolon as it's separating sentences, the clauses, it's either you use the colon or you use the dash. Okay, it's either you use the colon or you use the dash. So its usage can be interchanged. If I am writing, I feel like I want to use the dash, I can use it instead of me using the comma or me using the colon. But whenever I use it, it's like you drawing attention to yourself. Okay. When you use the dash in your essays, it's like you drawing attention to yourself. You just want to sound so dramatic or to be seen in any sense. So it is advised that mostly the dash is not used in the formal context, but it's used in the informal context. But then we use it just like we use the colon or the semicolon. So there are examples here. There was a loud clang of metal, smoke, and dust rose, and people rushed to the scene. Dash, it was chaos. Okay, here you could have bring a comma or a colon, but then instead of that, for them to be seen as so dramatic, foregrounding the thing, they just brought the dash there. Okay, so that is how we use the comma. And the second point is that the comma is used singly or in pairs to separate extra information after a thought or a comment. So just like I have said, it is used to separate a thought or a comment. So, and it's sometimes used to separate the identification of a quotation when footnotes are not used in. So with footnotes, mostly it happens when you go to the library or when you are writing your reference. That is when you use the footnote. So that is the use of the dash. Its usage is just like how we use the semicolon or the colon. Okay, so in most instances where you don't want to use the colon, you can use the comma or the semicolon or the dash. That is how we use the dash to separate sentences, so that the comma is separate, the comment is separate from the extra information or the main sentence. So that's it. Now ellipsis. When we use ellipsis in a text or ellipsis in our writing, we use ellipsis when you omit a whole phrase or a whole sentence in a passage or in a sentence. So in a sentence, when you omit some parts of the sentence from it, or some words from it, that is the omission. This is not just a word that you have omitted. This is a whole word that you have taken out, a whole phrase that you have taken out. That is the omission, the ellipsis. Ellipsis is just like omission. So you ellipse some of the words. You leave some of the words. Those words that you omit mostly, or there's phrases or clauses that you omit, will not affect the meaning of the sentence. So the original meaning is still there and it is still there, even when that phrase or clause is there or when they are being taken out. So we have example, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who had studied in American University, set ablaze Ghana's struggle for independence. So Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who had studied in American University, set ablaze Ghana's struggle for independence. In this sentence, we can ellipse a part of the sentence, and the ellipted part will not change the meaning of the sentence. So they have given us the short form of it just under it. So Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, we have the ellipsis sign, which is in 3 dots. So the moment you see the 3 dots, is ellipsis. So Dr. Kwame Nkrumah set ablaze Ghana's struggle for independence. So the ellipted part is who had studied in American University. So that particular aspect, when it's taken from the sentence, does not change the meaning. So whenever you are ellipsing a sentence or a part of a sentence, you make sure that that part, whether it's there or it's not there, the meaning of the sentence does not change. So when you ellipse that part of it, the meaning should still remain the same. That is the ellipsis. Whenever you are doing that, you make sure that the meaning is still the same and does not change. That is ellipsis. So let's take exclamation mark and then we can ask ourselves some questions. So with exclamation mark, it's like you drawing a short line like one with the dots. That is the exclamation mark, and I know you all know how to write it. It is mostly used to express a high degree of strong emotions. So when you want to express strong emotions, so as in the form of anger, joy, happiness, amazement, and others, we use the exclamation mark to express it. So in a sentence, get out of here. Get out of here. Mostly students write sentences, and when they want to bring the exclamation sign, you see they will just write, wow, you are beautiful. So after the wow, they will bring the exclamation mark, you are beautiful. But then it shouldn't be like that, okay? So wow, you are beautiful, because in all you are exclaiming, you are bringing out the emotions. Get out of here, you bring the exclamation mark there because it's in the form of anger. Okay, so the exclamation mark is it's used in that way. So walk out of my office at once in that sentence. So it is not only like hey, help, wow. That is those instances are not the only ones that we use there. Those instances are not the ones we only use the exclamation mark for. But then in full sentences too, we use the exclamation mark. Okay. So the home crowd yielded goal. So you see, goal takes on a high tone. So with a high tone, you bring the exclamation mark. Okay, so that is that for now. Any question before we start with the full stop? Any question? Any question? Hello.
No, madam.
Okay, so with the full stop, I'm not going to talk. When do we use the full stop?
Madam, it is used at the end of a sentence.
All
It
right.
is used
So
to end a sentence.
okay. So when you want to seen as you have completed a particular sentence or you have really ended a particular sentence, that is one way that we use the full stop. So can we give example to that? Can we give example to
Madam,
that?
Madam,
madam,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
the lion has a big head.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I
madam.
hope you are not indirectly insulting someone.
He's insulting me.
Don't mind him. Okay.
Madam,
So
please.
let's take.
I bought
Mhm.
I bought apples, banana, and mango. Full stop.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take the last example.
Madam,
Mm-hmm.
the girls came home early today. Full stop.
Okay, okay, thank you. The girls came home early today. So there is another use of the full stop. So we use the full stop to end an abbreviation or a person's initial. So those with the 4, 5 names, your initials, when you write them, you end it with a full stop. Okay. And sometimes too, the full stop is being omitted. But how when do we omit the full stop? I think they omit the full stop when the it's mostly written in capitals. When there are no capitals, you can just omit the full stop and you write the abbreviations like that. But then when they are all not in capitals, you bring your full stop. Okay. So that's is that. So sometimes we ignore it, sometimes it is there. So we have to note it in that way. Can we also give another instance where we use the full stop? Any different instance as to when we use the full stop? Are you talking to the class?
Madam, when you are writing time.
Okay, when you're writing time. So you bring the full stop. Okay, thank you. Any other as to when we use the full stop?
Madam,
Yes.
please, when writing dates after the year, you put full stop.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Uh-huh. When again do we use the full stop? When again do we use the full stop?
Madam,
Yes.
Please, can you say that it is used to begin a new sentence with capital? Let's say example. I went to school today, full stop. Then
Mm-hmm.
the new sentence begins. It was fun, full stop.
Yeah. So you can put it as it helps to begin the new sentence with a capital, or it helps to begin a new sentence, because you cannot write all together if there is no punctuation or there is no full stop. It means it's a continuity of that particular sentence. Okay. So
Okay,
when you
madam.
use even comma, dash, semicolon, whatever it is, it's still a continuity, meaning that same sentence has not ended unless you use the full stop. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank
So
you.
let's move to hyphen. Hyphen. So any idea on how we use the hyphen? Any idea how we use the hyphen?
Madam, this when two
Please, I'm listening.
words work together.
Okay, when two words go hand in hand. So those are the compound words,
Yes.
right? So compound words. So can we give some examples of compound words?
Yes,
So
madam.
okay, so let's try some compound words.
Sister-in-law,
Well known.
Well known. Mm-hmm.
mother-in-law,
Okay, mother-in-law. Mm-hmm.
full-time,
Madam,
Long-time
part-time
job.
job.
Okay. And what again? So we have those compounds words there. We should just read more about that. So we also have the compound words that have a prefix and a noun. So when we say perfect, they are mostly morphemes that begins a noun, short words that begins a noun. Okay, it comes after the main word. So we have like re, we have in, we have an. Okay, so these are the pre and others. These are the prefix. So a word like re-enter, re-enter. So the prefix is the re, the main word is enter. Anti-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory. So in this word, the anti here becomes the prefix, and then it's followed by the main word. So when you're writing anti-inflammatory, you write your anti, you bring your hyphen inflammatory. So antichrist, antichrist, anti-America. We have pre-independence, post-independence, preschool. So all those are words, compound words, which are hyphenated words, in that they are not together. They are not together. So you have to note it. And we also have some of the words that has prepositions in them. So the prepositions separate the nouns. Okay, so I think a lady said father-in-law. So in is a preposition. So father-in-law is not together. The preposition is there. So father hyphen in hyphen law. Out of this. Mother to be. Officer in charge. Okay, so all these are words that have preposition in between them. And so we have um, different sets of words which end in the vowel, and then it begins with the same vowel. So when a word begins with a vowel and ends with the same vowel, and you are writing them, you hyphenate. So that's why we have cooperate, coordinate, re-elect, preeminent, preempt. Okay, so we have various words like that. And we have the compound adjectives before a noun. Compound adjective before a noun. So a 5-year-old boy. This is not a word together, but then they are hyphenated. A 5-year-old boy. Okay. Well-dressed woman. A well-dressed woman. So high quality products. So these are words which are hyphenated. So 5-year hyphen old boy. So the old boy becomes what's the adjective. So high hyphen quality product. Well hyphen dressed woman. Okay. So these are them. Now we move to the question mark. Question mark mostly it's used when we end a direct question, or when you ask a direct question in writing. It ends a direct question. What is your name? Where are you coming from? When will you go home? Where is your mother? Okay, so these are direct questions, and it ends with a question mark. So it can also be used when you are writing a statement which is being interpreted as a question. So you were the first to arrive. It's a statement. It's not put in a question form. But in this case, it's a question form, indirect. So it ends with what? A question mark. Okay. He pays his rent regularly. It's just like you want to know, but you are not asking it straight. You are going indirectly to find the information. So it is mostly also used in rhetorical questions. And it is sometimes used in brackets to express doubts when you are not sure, especially with dates and others. That is when we use the question mark. Any other uses of the question mark in mind?
Madam,
Yes.
please can you say that it is used in question tags?
Yes, it is used there at the question side, not the statement side. So we use it on the question tags. Thank you so much. Any way of using the question mark? Any different way aside from what we have talked about so far? So question tags are also inclusive here. Anything else you want to add? Okay, if there are none, we go to
Madam,
quotation mark.
rhetorical questions.
Yes, rhetorical questions. I think I made mention of that. So thank you so much. Rhetorical questions are also part. Yeah,
Madam,
thank you. Mm-hmm.
to show surprise.
To show surprise, can you give out an instance?
Okay, he was born in 1985.
Mm-hmm. He was born in 1985. So it's just like the indirect form. You want him to answer if he was really born in 1985 or not. So it's just like an indirect question in the statement form.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
okay.
Madam, is it the same thing as uncertainty? Like when you're unsent, oh, how will I say?
Uncertain.
Yeah, when you're not sure about
Uncertain.
something.
And mostly it can be when you're not sure about something and you want the person to clarify, or you just want to tease the person in a way, or to make the person agree to whatever you are saying. Okay. So maybe you are all supposed to join the online class at 7, but at 7 and there's one person. So I can like you were the first to arrive. This is a question, but you can choose to answer or not to answer because it's indirect. I just want to be sure if indeed you came and nobody joined you. Okay. Mhm. So, is there anything you want to add, or we should continue?
Continue.
Okay. So, quotation marks too are also there. We have the double quotation and a single quotation. So, when we want to state exactly what the writer or the speaker or somebody have said earlier, you bring the quotation to state the exact words of the speaker. Okay, so she replied, "That's your worry." So "that's your worry" was said by somebody. So that will be put in a quotation mark form. Okay, so we also it is also being used. Yes, it's also being used when you want to identify the particular origin of a word, or you identify the particular origin of a word. Some are Latin, some are from the Greek. You want to find the etymology of the word. You use the quotation. We can also use it to enclose titles of short stories, poems, and songs. Okay, so when you're writing the book that I read, Peggy Opon's book, one of the books that I read, I love, The Woman Who Didn't Bow. It's a book, so even that one, you will not bring it in quotation, but in terms of a poem or a short story or a song, you just write it. So maybe Daddy Lumba's song, the one that is your favorite, when you are writing, you quote it, you put it in a quotation form because it is not your song, it's somebody's song. If it is a poem, it's somebody's poem, so you quote it. Okay, so that is how we use it, and we use it in referencing. When we are writing our references, we use the quotation mark. So we have the examples there of how it is being used. In the bibliography references, it is there. And the single quotation is also there. Okay, I think I want us to rush through so that we go to the other section. So semicolon. The semicolon is just like using the colon. It is used to separate the main clauses which are related or independent in thought. So just like the colon is used or the comma is used, we use it in the semicolon too. So to err is human, semicolon, to forgive, comma, divine. Swimming is an acquired skill, semicolon, it has to be learned. So this is one usage of the semicolon. And then it is used to separate statements which are internally punctuated with commas. Some of the statements which are punctuated with commas, we use it to separate it. So the example is that we are sending you the following goals by the afternoon coach tomorrow. Suiting materials, 5 bills, semicolon, wooden pullovers, 4 dozens. So you mentioned the item, there is a comma, and then the quantity you want the person to buy, and then you bring the semicolon. So the comma and the semicolon works hand in hand in that you mention maybe just like we did for the column or something. Comma when you are listing larger geographical areas. So you mention maybe Tamale, Northern region, semicolon, and then you go to Kandishi, Greater Accra. So you do it that way. Yes. Any questions? So far so good. We are done for today. I know I've been giving you some assignments. You are not doing it. I'll add some of it one day. So please do it. So this is the assignment for the week. The number 3 of this passage for the question 3. Punctuate the passage below. So let us try our hands on it to punctuate correctly. So let's quickly rush through to the uses of prepositions. What is a preposition? So let us bring our ideas on board. So we just rush through. What is a preposition? Hello, what is a preposition? My dear.
It's trying to show that exact position of an item or anything.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Any other? Any other? So mostly prepositions, as she said, is just the relationship between the noun or the noun equivalent in the sentence. So it shows a relationship, and as she said, it's like showing the position of a particular item or a noun. So just like the relationship, that is the preposition. Here, prepositions, examples, I know we can mention them: the on, the in, the under, beside, in front, back, besides, towards, from, off. There are lots. So these are prepositions. But then they drew attention to it that with prepositions, if you are not careful, you might think it is a preposition, whilst it can also be used as an adverb. So some prepositions can be used as adverbs, whilst others can be used as, yes, not some. Most prepositions can be used as adverbs, depending on the context it is being presented. Most of the times, when the prepositions answers questions like how, what, why, these are questions which goes with what? Adverb. Adverbs answer questions like how, what, when. So when the preposition answers questions like that, it is no more acting as a preposition, but then it is acting as an adverb. So we have an illustration here. The hat is on the table. The hat is on the table, and we have he put on a hat. He put on a hat. So with the use of on, you realize that there is a difference. The hat is on the table. It flows through, and he puts on a hat. With the second one, there is a difference. Like there is an emphasis on the on compared to the first one, as the hat is on the table, just showing direction, just showing the position of the hat. But he puts the hat, he puts on a hat. Here there is stressing, there is emphasis on the on, which makes it what? An adverb. And it's also answering a question here. He puts on a hat. What? He puts on a hat. What did he put on? He puts on a hat. It's answering a question. So when it happens like that, it is an adverb. But when it does not answer any question, but it shows positions and relationship between the nouns, it is what? A preposition. So we have another sentence there. The delegation arrived at noon. The delegation arrived at noon. So when they arrived at noon. So at noon shows what? The time. Yes, they arrived. And then the assailant came at me with blows. The assailant came at me with blows. You see, me at me here, at me. There is a stress on the at, which makes it what? An adverb. So we have various uses of prepositions. How we use them. The first one is that it answers the question where. Where is the cat? It's on the table, it's near the table, beside the table, under the table. So it answers a question like when, showing the position of that particular noun. And then when, in terms of time, it answers time. Comparing to adverbs, which answers how. Okay, so it expresses direction and it expresses possession. So these are some of the uses of a preposition. And it is used in combination with some verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. So in a sentence like, he said it by mistake. So it is being used in combination with the verb said. So sometimes we can use it in that order. And we have with the nouns, we did it in support of our mates. In support of our mates. So in support of becomes a preposition, making us understand the sentence well. So we have that of the adjective and then the adverbs there. And this part, the A part here, is actually giving us more information on some of the words that we use prepositions, and then the ones that we shouldn't bring the preposition, and the ones that we should bring the preposition. So you act in support of. So whenever you are making a reference or stating something, yes, you act in support of something, but not for. I supported him for what he said. I supported him for what he said. I think the preposition shouldn't be there for, but you support of what he said, and you take a revenge on. You take a revenge on, but you didn't take it for somebody. Okay, so you are found of, not found for. Okay, so in view of, in view of, not in view to. So these are some of the errors that they want us to change. And then they also highlighted the wrong choice of prepositions. How we choose prepositions wrongly. We should read on that one too, so that we get more understanding of how to use them. So we have, let's quickly go through the redundant prepositions. So they are the words that require no preposition. So redundant, they are the words when you are using, it's not compulsory for you to bring any preposition to it. So you highlight a point. You highlight a point, but you don't highlight on a point. So highlight does not take any preposition. Okay. Comprise does not take a preposition of, it's comprised of. So you shouldn't bring the of. You emphasize a point, not emphasize on. So emphasize a point, but you pay emphasis on it, or you lay emphasis on it. So these are some of the redundant words that do not require prepositions. And we have the omissions of prepositions. When you omit a preposition, it means if the sentence requires a preposition and you omit it, it is a grammatical error and you'll be penalized for it. So let's take note of it. So the boy is found of telling lies. You just ignore the of. It means your sentence is grammatically wrong. Be careful. Be careful what you say. Mostly we say this one, but that shouldn't be it. So be careful of what you say, or be careful about what you say. So we ignore the preposition and we just go scot-free. Kofi. Okay, so policemen collude armed robbers. Collude with armed robbers. So these are some of the omissions that we also have to pay attention to. Let us read more so that we get understanding of it. So hello, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
All
please.
right.
madam.
I'm rushing you in. I'm sorry. I realize my time is limited. If I do not finish to Asamabat, unless you want to fix a time for us to go through again, and it's not going to help too. So the pronouns, section 5. What are pronouns? So pronouns substitutes nouns. They are substitutes for nouns or noun phrases. So we have Michael is handsome and he is also intelligent. Michael is handsome and he is also intelligent. Here, The he is referring to somebody. The he is replacing what's the name Michael or the noun Michael. Okay, so that is a preposition. So whenever we are using prepositions, it is very important that as we substitute, we check the genitives. You cannot be missing them.
Madam,
Okay, yes.
please, are we talking about pronouns or preposition?
Pronouns.
Because you just said preposition, so I'm a little bit
Really?
confused.
Sorry.
Yes, please.
So I'm sorry. So whenever you are dealing with pronouns, you check the genitives. The genitive in that you check the masculine and then the feminine aspect of it. So whenever we are speaking, when it is a he, we are ending with the him as the object, we end up missing it. So if it is a male, it starts with what? A he, him, his, himself. If it is a feminine, it starts with the she, her, hers, herself. Okay, so under pronouns, we have to check the first person, the second person, and the third person for singular and for plural. So with the first person goes with I. I am intelligent. I am good with mathematics. I am beautiful. I am a bank manager. So it starts with the I. And then the plural form is we are students. We are all facilitators. We are all lecturers. Okay, so the we for plural. But the second person is you. And its plural form still maintains as what? You. And then the third, which goes with the genitives, which is the he, she, and it. It here stands for the inanimate, the animates, the things that are not classified as humans. So it can be common objects or animals that we give the name it to. So if you study the table carefully, you will know when you are using the subject, how to use the subject. So if I'm using for me, so the toy is for me, I cannot say the toy is for I because I is the subject form and not the object form. You are here. You are here. Okay. He is here. The book is with him. The book is with him. The him here is the object. Okay, him here is the object. So let's take note of it and the reflexive form as myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. And the plural form ourselves, yourselves, themselves. So let's take note of the plural, the personal pronouns and how it is being used here. So this one is just about sentence with its antecedent. Okay, so the committee will commit its report next week. So it here refers to the committee. It's in the sentence referring to what? Their committee. The boys and the girl deserve their reward. The boys and the girl deserve their reward. So dear, it's referring to the boys and then the girls. The boy and the girl kiss each other. That is reciprocal pronoun. So that's that. So let's quickly go to the pronoun as a subject in non-finite clauses. For her to win, she must practice harder. For her to win, she must practice harder. So here it's using the object form as a subject. So it is partial. So when mostly this object form is used, so do you expect him to go? It is using this object form more than the subject form even from the very onset of the sentence. Okay. So we have unclear and implied reference. So um, these are the references or the pronouns in the sentence. The pronouns are not stated clearly. They are hidden or in a way. You are even not sure of what the word pronoun. Grace reminded Janet of her birthday. It's unclear. Grace reminded Janet of her birthday. Whose birthday? Is that of Grace or that of Janet? So Grace reminded Janet of her birthday. Or implied when we do not know where the pronoun is referencing to, the antecedent of the reference. When we do not know, it is not clear. So my uncle asked my father to permit him use his car. My uncle asked my father to permit him use his car. So in this sentence, is it the uncle that asked, that's permitted the father, or the father permitted the uncle to use the car? So that is when the pronoun is not stated clearly. And when it happens like that, it's ambiguous. You only have to solve that puzzle. Okay, so there is a reconstruction here as Grace's birthday is communicated to Janet. Grace's birthday is communicated to Janet, or my uncle sought my father's permission to use his car. Okay, so it is being written correct there for us. And the implied, when the antecedent is not stated, it is being implied. When it's not stated, actually, when it's like two speakers are there, it's implying to someone. So go home at once. Go home at once. We do not know who the whole thing is referring to, who should go home. But then, in case we can imply it, it means you go home at once. Meaning we have to imply, bring in a pronoun ourselves for us to get a clear meaning of that particular sentence. So that is the implied. And we have the recursive pronouns. Recursive pronouns. So it refers back to itself within the sentence by repeating the same pronoun within the sentence. So when it refers back by repeating the same pronoun within the sentence, so this is the house which my brother talked about it. So here, the it here is still referring back to the house. You could have just written it's like, this is the house which my brother talked about. But then with the introduction of the it, is recursive, bringing us back again to what was said earlier, which is the house. So that is all for now. Any question? Any question? Hello.
No question,
No,
madam.
madam.
Are you
No,
okay?
madam.
I was just rapping.
Madam,
We're
today
listening.
the speed was beautiful.
Okay, I know it's late and you guys would have to go and sleep because tomorrow you still go to work and others. So
Yes.
I
Some of us,
can't
we are
take,
tired.
yes, I know. I can't take more of your time. That is why I want to rush you so that we finish earlier. Okay. And I'm sorry for that too. Okay, so with the last part, I will not take you through so that you feel like I'm rushing you. So the last section, which is under spelling, please read it. Please read it after your quiz, and because you have quiz to write, so read it so that you get a clear understanding of whatever it is. And concerning your quiz, I don't have any past questions, so you can consult some of your friends. I think my phone and laptop got spoiled. I got a new one and I couldn't update, so I can't get you the past questions. Okay. Aaron, please, are you there?
Madam, I'm here.
So I'll be waiting for you for the
Madam,
group.
I'm done with the group already. The link is in the comment section.
Okay. So please let us all join. And when we join, if someone is also not there, just if you have the person's contact, you just share the link to the person so that the person can join. On the group, this is what we are going to do because we will be presenting on section 5 and 6 in groups. I want to know the total number of students that I have so that I can do the groupings. You would meet each other via WhatsApp or phone call. You discuss about it. Prepare well. You prepare a PowerPoint presentation on it. It's going to take 20 minutes for the presentation. So I will just distribute the topics to you. You are not going to read from just the book. The book is just there as a guide. You have to read intensively to bring more information about the topic that you're being given to present on so that everything goes well. That is you teaching us. And it's 20 marks. Marks for presentation is there, marks for appearance is there. And is it, I've forgotten, dressing or something like that. So when it's time for presentation, please don't come shirtless. You dress well because you I will have to look at you and award marks for appearance, okay? How you have dressed up. So the ladies, if you are in the kitchen eating or you are in the hall eating, you still have to appear presentable because marks will be awarded for that one too. So please let's take notes. Let's try to put the link on the main page for the com skills so that others from Chemu, Lashibi, and Somenya area can join. These are the 3 areas that I am to take. In case they join a different class, they are going to be missing and it's going to affect the release of their rewards, the results. So they should just make a point to join here. Okay. All right. So please, any question?
Madam,
Is there any question?
madam.
No, madam.
Okay. So please, let's read it. And in case I get any question too, I don't know if I would, but in case I get, I'll try to share it with you. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. I know it's not easy after work and staying up till this time. Thank you. So I'm around before the quiz. If you have any question, if you have something that you're unclear about, you can just call me and then we'll take you from there. Okay. So thank you so much. We'll meet after the quiz. Good luck too. Bye.
Bye.